All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. My name is Jeff, and this is another episode of Midweek Worship as we learn about Jesus. Hey, we're Cities Church, and if you found us for the first time, why don't you look below me? In the notes for this broadcast, you'll also see a YouTube link, and that YouTube link will tell you more about our church and more about me, but it will also tell you why we started doing this broadcast in the first place. Today, we're going to talk about Jesus, and we're going to compare Jesus to Adam. Actually, there's no real comparison, but the Bible uses comparison language between Jesus and Adam. So what we're going to do is talk about Jesus as the second Adam on this episode of Midweek Worship. Now, to get our hearts ready to hear from the Bible, ready to learn what the Bible is really teaching us, and actually ready to do a little exercise and to see this pretty awesome viral video, I want to give you a chance to sing a song. This music comes out of South Africa. It's from Pete and Alish DeWitt, and the lyrics will be at the bottom of the screens. But why don't you go ahead and turn the volume up, and why don't you sing along with Pete and Alish as they lead us to sing this song to King Jesus.
God, I call to you with my heart here in my hands. God, I call to you. I know you'll understand. Lifting my eyes to the one I need. Tell me the things you want me to hear. I am listening. I am listening. God, I call to you, the one that I adore. Lord, I call to you, the one I'm waiting for. Lifting my eyes to the one I need. Show me the things you want me to see. I am listening. I am listening.
burdens, I really do care. The scares of this world really doesn't compare to my glory, to my glory. Just breathe.
Now that we've sung a song just giving Jesus the praise that he deserves, let's turn our attention to the Bible. The Bible has a lot to say about Jesus. It uses a lot of names. It uses a lot of metaphors. It uses a lot of titles for Jesus. And by the way, those titles and metaphors aren't just in the New Testament. The Old Testament is chocked full of ideas and information about the coming Savior, or the rest of the New Testament talks about the one who has come. One of the fascinating phrases that the Bible uses for Jesus is it calls him the second Adam. Or based on your translation, it may use the phrase the last Adam. And of course, that name Adam is a reference to Adam and Eve, the first two human beings that God created in the Garden of Eden, way back in Genesis chapter 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to give you a very short verse from 1 Corinthians. I'm going to put the verse on the screens, but I want you to listen to this verse. I want you to actually read the verse out loud with me. And then I want you to memorize this verse, because this verse has something really powerful to say about who Jesus is and about what Jesus came to accomplish. Here it is, 1 Corinthians 15:22. For just as in Adam all die, so also in Christ all will be made alive. 1 Corinthians 15:22. Notice, just as Adam, so Christ. This is a comparison here. And the reason why the Bible is comparing Adam to Jesus is because when God created Adam, God made Adam to be a language that we used many, many months ago around here, the federal head over all human beings, which means, Adam, you're the first. Adam, what happens to you impacts everyone that comes behind you. Adam, don't mess this up. And then, of course, Adam does the one thing and one thing only that God tells him not to do, and Adam sins, and because he's our federal head, he plunges all human beings, everyone who ever comes after him, into sin with them. If you want to know why you feel this temptation to do something that in your heart you know is wrong, you inherited that, and it came to you from Adam. So 1 Corinthians compares Adam, the first man, with Jesus, sometimes referred to as the second Adam. I like to use the language, the last Adam. You had the first Adam back in Genesis. You get the last Adam in the New Testament. And the last Adam is there's not going to be anybody else who will ever come again like Jesus. Not going to be anybody else who ever has all of the human race in the palm of his hands like Adam, the first human being, did, like Jesus did. And what 1 Corinthians is saying is Adam messed up and plunged all of us into sin. So the last Adam, Jesus, had to show up and had to fix the mistake and the consequences that the first Adam had. And really what the Bible is describing right now is you get credit for something that you didn't do and you didn't earn. I want you to think about it like sports, and there are points on the scoreboard that you didn't do, and on the stats, the people are giving you the credit for those points on the scoreboard, but you know you did absolutely nothing to deserve that credit. Anybody who's ever flown before, especially if you sit back in the back of the plane like me, you have to walk through all of those really, really nice seats on the way to the back of the plane. You know, those first class seats, or now those airlines, I don't know, they're doing like little cabins on board where people can take their shoes off and put on pajamas, and I don't know what they do behind those closed doors on those airplanes. But for all of the common people like you and me, for all of us suckers, we have to walk through the first class high roller section of the airplane to make our way to the back of the seat. Well, there's a video. It actually got so much attention that it started to go viral. And it's a video about a guy who normally flies way up in the front of the airplane in first class like a high roller and spends a lot of money for those plane tickets. And think about it. Same plane takes off at the same time, lands at the same airport at the same time, and everybody's on board. But the experience up in the front is radically different than the experience in the back, right? Well, I want you to watch this video. And this video is what happens when a guy, for no reason whatsoever, other than he's got a really good heart, decides, I'm going to make this lady's dreams come true. An 88-year-old woman who has wanted her entire life to fly in the front of the plane in first class like a high roller. And a guy not only gave up his seat, but he took the worst seat in the airplane so that she could have the best seat in the airplane. Check out this article, or check out this broadcast about Jack, who gave up the best seat in the plane for this woman. He doesn't even know.
We have another video for you that might make your heart sing. A Virgin Atlantic flight attendant shared a heartwarming story that's gone viral on Facebook. Jack and Violet were two passengers on a recent transatlantic flight. Jack gave up his first class seat to the 88-year-old woman. It was her dream to, quote, sit at the front of the plane while he took her seat in economy.
Got that red wine, girl.
I know it. Jack did it out of Violet. Look at you. Jack did it out of the goodness of his own heart, according to the flight attendant.
So apparently the paper that wrote up the story is looking for Jack. They're like, let us know if you know Jack. So Jack, come tell people where you are.
His first and last name? What do you mean looking for him?
Well, they want him to do an interview, I guess, a longer interview. But he sat by the toilets, though. That's the worst seat on the plane. He exchanged seats with this lady, gave her first class, and sat by the toilets. And the flight attendant said he didn't complain at all. He just sat there and enjoyed his trip.
I'm the first thing that popped in my head.
Oh, boy.
Was I hope Jack is single, because his DMs are going to be popping. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, did that not pop up in your head? Women are going to love him for this. Look at that.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy, too. Yeah, no, I mean,
He's
look.
adorable. I think women and men, let's be honest.
And first of all, she is so cute.
Adorable.
Yeah, so that, I mean,
adorable.
I'm going to get some first class on Virgin. What's up, DBL? Sign me out.
No.
Now that you've seen that video, isn't this guy pretty amazing? Think about it. He went from paying far more money than the people in the back of the plane, giving up his seat for free. And not only did he go to the back, he went all the way to the back by the bathrooms. You know how bad it stinks back there in the back of the airplane by the bathrooms? And he just rode out the back of in the back of the airplane like a champ so that he could literally fulfill this woman's dream of a lifetime, always having wanted to fly first class. And he puts her up in first class for free and gave her something that she didn't pay for, she didn't earn, and he just blessed this woman and did something beautiful for her. Now, I'm going to use that video clip to prepare you for a question I'm going to put on the screens. And if you're part of a family, Mom and Dad, would you talk about this question with your children? Would you give your children a chance to talk about it with you? If you're gathered around with your friends in a small group, why don't you guys have a lively, honest discussion about this question? Here it is on the screens. Have you ever received credit for something that you didn't do? On a test, in sports, at work, did somebody give you credit and you know, I didn't do anything to deserve that credit, but yet they insisted on giving you credit or giving you an upgrade or giving you something that you didn't pay for, you didn't earn? You remember what that feels like when that happens to you? Well, the biggest, greatest gift that any of us could ever receive is to get credit for living, listen to these words, an absolutely perfect life. Not once, ever in a lifetime doing something wrong. And none of us can say, I've lived a perfect life. I deserve the credit for perfection. But Jesus did. You see, the first Adam messed up and didn't live the perfect life that God called him to live. So the last Adam had to show up and had to do what the first Adam didn't do, had to live this pure, perfect life. And what 1 Corinthians 15 is saying is you get credit for what the last Adam did. Instead of taking the punishment for what the first Adam did, Jesus came so that you get credit for an absolutely 100% perfect life. And Jesus is giving you the ultimate upgrade. Talk about that as we end this broadcast. See you next week.